Patriots versus Seahawks, quantity versus quality, the greatest dynasty debate in NFL history. What if greatness wasn't one thing? What if it came in two completely different forms? One team ruled the NFL for nearly 2 decades, stacking trophies, breaking records, owning January football. Another team burned brighter, hit harder, and terrified offenses like few teams ever have, even if only for a moment. Today, we settle one of the most controversial debates in football history: the New England Patriots versus the Seattle Seahawks. This isn't just a comparison. This is a clash of philosophies. Quantity versus quality. Please subscribe so we can continue. Thank you. Setting the stage, the numbers. Let's start with the cold, undeniable facts. Super Bowl wins. Patriots, 6, tied for most in NFL history. Seahawks, 1. Super Bowl appearances. Patriots, 12, an NFL record. Seahawks, 4. Conference titles. Patriots, 12 AFC championships. Seahawks, for NFC championships. Playoff record. Patriots, 40-22. Seahawks, 19-19. All-time franchise record. Patriots, 559-449-9. Seahawks, 416, 376, 1. At first glance, it looks like a blowout, but numbers don't tell the full story. Because dominance can look very different depending on how long and how hard it burns. Dynasty defined. What is a dynasty? Is it longevity, consistency, or the fear you strike into opponents at your absolute peak? The Patriots define dynasty as survival. Every year, new rules, new rivals, new quarterbacks. Same result, a trip deep into January. Seattle defined dynasty as violence. For a short window, they didn't just beat teams, they broke them. Part 1, the Patriots, the Empire of Time. 2001, 2018, and beyond. Nearly 2 decades of dominance. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, the greatest quarterback-coach pairing in NFL history. They didn't rely on flash. They relied on adaptation. Different eras, same result. Defensive-led teams in the early 2000s. High-powered passing offenses in the 2010s. Tight ends, slot receivers, power football, spread offense. Every time the league evolved, the Patriots evolved faster. The myth of weak divisions. Critics love to say they played in a weak AFC East. But in the playoffs, they faced Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Patrick Mahomes, Ray Lewis, Von Miller, and they kept winning. The legacy of volume. The Patriots weren't always the most exciting. They weren't always the most talented, but they were always there. Every season. Conference championship expectations. Super Bowl aspirations. A target on their back. Sustaining excellence for 18+ years is unheard of. That's not dominance. That's ownership of an era. Green Circle Part 2, the Seahawks peak perfection. Now let's talk about fear. Real fear. The kind that shows up on film. 2012, 2015, and flashes beyond. The Legion of Boom. Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas. This wasn't just a defense. It was a statement. Defense as a weapon. Seattle didn't bend. They didn't adjust. They imposed. Quarterbacks rushed throws before the snap. Receivers heard footsteps before catching the ball. The 2013 Super Bowl, 43-8. One of the most dominant Super Bowl performances ever. The Broncos never stood a chance. Peak intensity. Seattle at its peak felt unstoppable. They controlled games physically. One ugly, one loud, one with swagger. For a brief moment, they looked like the most complete team in football. The window closes, but dynasties require time, injuries, contracts, locker room tension, and one infamous goal line decision changed everything. Seattle burned hot, but not long. The great debate, quantity versus quality. So what matters more? Patriots' longevity, consistency, adaptability, historic totals. Seahawks, intensity, physical dominance, defensive excellence, fear factor. The Patriots crushed in volume. The Seahawks crushed in impact. One owned the league, the other terrified it. Final verdict, you decide. So now we ask the question, is greatness about how long you rule, or how hard you rule? The Patriots gave us an empire that lasted nearly 20 years. the Seahawks gave us. A peak so violent it changed how offenses played football. Quantity or quality, consistency or intensity. You decide that if you enjoyed this breakdown. Like the video. Subscribe for more deep NFL debates. Comment below. Patriots or Seahawks, who had the greater dynasty? Because in football, greatness isn't always about the same thing. Thank you for watching.